Hello everybody, it is Thursday, November 30th here at the FSU Weather Studios. I'm student meteorologist Matt Reagan.
And I'm student meteorologist Francesca Lappin.
We got some breaking news here into the FSU Weather Center out of near Dover, Delaware, where this is our top story off the hour here. A 4.1 magnitude earthquake has been felt in New York, D.C., and the Dover area.
All across that upper northeast area around the Delaware River. But luckily, there was no damage. No one has been hurt or reported so far. It was a weaker, moderate earthquake for when it comes to the Richter scale. But for them, it was near record-breaking.
Yeah, it actually tied the record for the state of Delaware. For strength. So the 4.1 was felt back in 1871, which leads to the idea that this isn't completely, it's rare, but it's not completely unheard of.
And for our Delaware viewers, just keep in mind, just aftershocks are possible, and stay away from the water. Tsunamis and waves are a bare possibility after earthquakes.
Yeah, we'll be watching this one closely throughout the entire show, but for now, let's take a look at our local forecast with Brittany.
Thank you, Matt and Francesca. Let's take a look at our weather headlines for tonight's show. We're going to see those clouds start to pick up tonight. That's due to a cold front that is going to make its way through our area. But don't get too excited for you cold weather lovers. It's going to be a weak front. So we're going to have a calm Sunday into Monday after this front passes. But if you like that cold weather, there is another front coming next week that is going to bring some pretty drastic changes to our area. Today, if you woke up nice and early, Tallahassee saw a low of 49. We were 54 in Montgomery, Alabama, and a little warmer down here in Tampa at 65. So pretty uniform temperatures if you're looking across the area for the low temperatures. Satellite and radar, you can see that front starting to make its way through. You can see there's not a lot of rain with it. The big story is these clouds are going to come into our area, and to look at our 3-day forecast, you'll see that chance of rain come up for Friday and Saturday with that cold front. And for now, we're going to take it back to the desk with Sammy and Francesca.
Thank you, Brittany. Well, now we are going to pick our our state of the week. And last week was
Connecticut?
Connecticut.
Everyone's favorite edition on Thursdays, the where in the world is FSU weather. We're going to pick our new state for this, or for next week, that we're going to highlight. And drum roll, it is Idaho.
Idaho.
Featuring potatoes.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, too.
They're certainly most known for their copious amount of potatoes.
Yes.
I don't personally know anyone in Idaho, but I'm sure it's beautiful.
I know capital is Boise. But yeah, I don't know much about Idaho other than, I guess we'll find out. We'll feature some major cities in Idaho. But for now, we are going to take it back and see what our local is.
Matt.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to see what's going on in Idaho, the Idaho potato, see how the potato farm's going. Probably not very much going on now because it's getting pretty cold there. Not the same here. Look, it's 71 degrees. It's actually quite mild for this time of year, or on average. Dew point in the 50s and humidity about 66%. The dew point is what we're going to be watching, though, over the next about 24 hours with the approach of a very weak cold front. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Current temperatures, low 70s, upper 60s across much of the area. Pretty nice across the coastline if you're heading on down to the lighthouse to watch the sunset. It'll be a nice one out there. About 60 degrees. You might need a light jacket if you're heading on down to the coast. Now, in the last about 24 hours or so, we've seen a roller coaster of temperatures. Look at all the way down at 5 a.m. this morning. We were at 49 degrees. We rose all the way up into the upper 70s, almost tapped 80. This is really just showing you the volatility of the temperature forecast. Start low, go high. It's Florida. We don't really know what to wear during the day, so this is a layers situation, and this is what we're going to be seeing throughout the next few days or so. Now, satellite and radar, we were talking about a cold front. Really, how cold is it going to get? Not that cold. It's weak. You can barely see it on the satellite and radar. The showers here just north of our area could push in and increase our rain chances about 20% or so overnight tonight, but really a weak one at that. The story of this front, or dew point front, I guess, if you want to call it that, is going to be the change in the dew point. We have lower 50s right now, and then we see this surge of higher dew point values, and the dew point really just feels slightly more humid outside, but really not going to be able to feel too much at all. A slight raise in the dew point values through tomorrow morning, and then as the front starts to settle its way in, and it will settle, it won't really push through, it's just going to kind of sag, and maybe sneaking up to the dew points in the 60s, raising the humidity just a little bit. And this is actually why we're seeing a lot of those dense fog advisories across much of the region. Upper level water vapor, we're seeing dry air across much of the state. That'll be moving out with that approach of the weak cold front in the mid to upper levels, keeping it rather dry though. Our 5-day forecast, it's actually pretty nice and tranquil. Only 20% chance of rain through the weekend. Possibilities, some cloud cover tomorrow, but we're not talking about a washout at all. Sunday into Monday, pretty comfortable for this time of year, but a cool down, maybe later in the week. I don't know. Right now we're going to send off to Francesca, who's got a look at our southeast.
Thank you, Matt. That nice look of our area all over the southeast. It's feeling pretty comfortable, except for it's cloudy and a little bit rainy in Alabama. We have some light clouds tonight in Tallahassee, and then all over for most of the region, with the exception of Orlando and Key West, it's going to be partly cloudy. Our today low temps was 49 and pretty low, or not low for winter time, but pretty in the upper 50s or upper 40s and lower 50s across the southeast, and in the 70s in Miami. Certainly not the lows that we had last week, but our temperature change over the next 24 hours is really not significant in our area or this part of the southeast, except for Atlanta and maybe Little Rock. That front that we had seen really did not shake up our temperature scale that much. Pretty much similar, a similar feel across today and tomorrow. And as for our dew point, we do see this kind of line of a temperature or a moisture gradient that's sweeping over and coming into our area. But overall, we have this moist pocket in Alabama and at 59, which is pretty comfortable in our area. For this cold front, we're not seeing a whole lot. There is a little bit of convection coming over here into Biloxi and across the state of Alabama. But for the most part, very scattered, not really coalescing into a nice convective line like we normally see with an aggressive cold front. And our winds are variable in all of the areas except for this, which is over Arkansas and eastern Texas, where they're all coming to the east because of that cold front has really dominated their wind regime. Tallahassee, we have these lighter winds that are coming from the south, which is bringing us a little bit of more moisture. And we see that really winds are variable. We have mostly from the north coming in, a little bit of a spiral over the water, bringing us that moist air again. And not seeing a huge change in our temperatures except for right here where the cold air starts to dip down, not entirely into our area, but to the rest of the southeast. And as for Charleston, we do have clouds and upper 60s, lower 50s. Same for Atlanta. We have very similar features over all of the southeast, mid to upper 60s with decreasing temperatures and lower lows with clouds all throughout the weekend. And Charlotte, we have the same conditions, but they get some sunshine on Sunday. As for tonight's forecast, we do have some similar temperatures across the area. And tomorrow's forecast, it will be warm. It's going to be warm for December 1st. And now we're going to hand it off to the lab.
Thanks, Francesca. So today, November 30th, marked the end of a very active and destructive hurricane season. Now, some of the numbers of the hurricane season 2017 in the Atlantic Basin, we had 17 storms form in the Atlantic Basin. 10 of those storms were hurricanes, and 6 were major hurricanes. Now, the 10 hurricanes were actually, they formed 10 in a row from, well, we'll go into that later, but let's see the tracks of these storms. So you can see the purple represents major hurricanes. A lot of the major hurricanes formed north of the Caribbean islands, and a notable Irma, and we had, so Irma was a notable with that, and then also another major hurricane was Harvey. We are going to go into that later. So again, the notables, we had 3 major hurricane landfalls in the U.S. territory. It started with Harvey. Now, when Harvey made landfall in the U.S., it ended the streak of major hurricanes not hitting the U.S., going all the way back to 2008 with, to 2008. Now, there were 10 hurricanes in a row, as I was saying, from Franklin to Ophelia, And the ACE, which is the accumulated cyclone energy, was the 7th highest in the Atlantic hurricane season history. What does ACE mean? It means the amount of energy that these hurricanes formed accumulated that amount of energy. Here's a look at the track of Harvey. It became a major hurricane near the Texas coastline and caused destructive flooding to the Houston metro area. And finally, here's a look at Irma, the other hurricane that impacted the U.S. It became a major hurricane near Puerto Rico, was one of the longest major hurricanes in Category 5 at the time. And then it hit the Keys, and caused a lot of destruction in southern Florida before it weakened to a low in the interior southeast. Another highlight of the hurricane season was Maria. Maria struck Puerto Rico as a Category 5 hurricane, and they are still recovering from Maria. A lot of the country is still without power and having issues in terms of water and electricity and food. So we hope that Puerto Rico can fully recover from Maria eventually. And also another storm that was very important in the Atlantic hurricane season was Ophelia, which impacted the United Kingdom and Ireland. Now let's send it back to the wall with Sammy with a look at your national forecast.
Thank you, Michael. We are going to check out some of the major states of the U.S. So look at these temperatures. Tallahassee and Miami being kind of our warm spot, being in the 70s. 71 over in Tallahassee, and going up throughout most of the United States. 60s and 50s going across towards the west, and we're actually in the 40s in the Pacific Northwest, all the way throughout pretty much the entire north of the United States. Taking a look at Washington, you could see a front that's starting to develop around Seattle. We are having some storms, and even some snow is impacting most parts of Washington, and will continue to impact as it moves its way through most of the U.S. And taking a look at the opposite side of the coast, we are seeing another cold front due to low pressure moving its way through. Looking in Pennsylvania, New York, you are going to be seeing the effects of that storm. And even some colder temperatures for the next few days as well. For Florida, we are sitting under pretty much a high pressure system throughout the East Coast, but they are going to be experiencing some of that cold front towards the north of the Northeast. And the middle half of the state, they are pretty much a high pressure of system right now, but there are a series of storms that will be moving across the U.S. to come. And our current dew point is showing pretty much moist air throughout most of the southeast, while the northwest part of the U.S. is seeing very dry conditions. Look at that. Denver being 21, Salt Lake City being 32. That is a quite low dew point. And we are going to see not much of a change for that dew point for the southeast, but kind of variable conditions throughout the other half of the coast. And now we are going to take a look at Connecticut.
All right, good evening, guys. I'm Victoria Nichols with your State of the Week forecast. This week it is Connecticut. Currently, the capital, Hartford, is sitting at 39 degrees, pretty cold. 42 up here in Windsor Locks, a little bit warmer on the coast, 50 in New Haven, and 47 in Bridgeport. Current dew point in Hartford, 33, 41 in New Haven, 42 here in Bridgeport, higher on the coast because of that moisture. For the future, we see these clouds starting to roll in through Connecticut with a cold front following. The weekend forecast for Hartford is on Friday, the rain percent, there's going to be a 50% chance of rain because of that cold front, and it'll clear up on Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures will drop below freezing. For New Haven, same thing, percent chance of rain, 40% on Friday, clearing up on Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures dropping below freezing, 29 degrees and 32 degrees. All right, so we're taking it to Brittany with your local forecast.
Thank you, Victoria. So let's take a look at our high temps for today. Tallahassee saw a high of 78. Again, a really hot day. We are being dominated by a high pressure currently situated over us. So that's allowing a lot of sunshine, cloudless skies. We're heating up and pretty similar throughout the whole area. Again, 79 in Gainesville, 83 in Tampa, and 79 in Dothan. Looking at the current dew points, we're pretty comfortable outside. 59 in Tallahassee. Now this is going to allow that fog to form overnight and into the morning. So we're most likely going to see another dense fog advisory for our area. Current winds, you can see coming out of the south at 3 miles per hour in Tallahassee. That is going to change with that approach of the front. You can see that here indicated. You can see the front sort of through this line where this wind direction changes, and you're going to see it make its way through the next couple days into our area, and we're not going to get much of a temperature change. You can see that yellow-orange color sticking around through most of this. That cold seems to pop up around here, but that's about it for the cold front. For tonight, we're going to see a temperature of 66 at 7 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a nice start to the night. The clouds will start to roll in as that cold front approaches, and we'll see that temperature at 60. And then at 12 a.m. is when that fog becomes possible because those temperatures are going to be closer to our dew point. So 58, we're going to give it at about midnight. For tomorrow, we're going to see temperature at 54 at 7 a.m. and you're going to wake up and you're most likely going to see that fog. The rain chances are going to pick up as that front begins to approach. There's not too big of a rain chance though, so it's not going to be a whole downpour of a day, just a slight chance of rain, and we'll see that mild afternoon, high of 76, again another warm day. Just an increase in clouds is mainly the big picture. Here's where that front is situated now. You can see those showers and storms associated with it. It's going to move in through our area. Again, not too much to worry about, but this front over here is where we're going to see our big change next week, and you can see that in our 7 day towards the end. Now this is pretty interesting. This is today, Thursday, and this is the last 7 days. So when you go back to last Friday, that's when we had our last cold front. We had a low of 56 and the high only went up to 66, only up 10 degrees. And as the days went on, you could see that bigger gap in between the lows and the highs. And that's because that high pressure is sitting over us, so it allowed us to warm up. And you can see our average right now is 73 for this time of year. We're well above average at 80. And our average low is 47, and we're still above that at 53. Looking at the week ahead, you can see we're tomorrow high of 76, well above this average of 65. And you're going to see that trend continue until we get to this next cold front next week. Look at that. Our temperature is going to drop drastically. We'll be at 60 degrees next Thursday and that low of 51. So now let's take it over to the desk with Matt.
Thank you very much. We are, one thing that I want to note on, I was talking to our producer Dylan, the fog, this morning we actually had a fog advisory go until about 10 a.m. So we could see something very similar to that tomorrow morning. So just caution you, if you are heading out before 10 a.m., watch out, a little bit extra caution on the road, especially when you're driving through the low visibility areas. Now, one more thing we wanted to add to the earthquake, we even have reports that we're seeing that some folks in New York City felt the earthquake. Now, as we turn our attention from the earthquake over back to our local weather, we just received the latest drought monitor today, and we are looking at Leon County, Tallahassee, in an abnormally dry situation. We're seeing the counties west of Leon County, though, seeing that moderate drought stage. Now, what does this mean? I feel like we've gotten a lot of rain, you ask. Well, we're only about 2 inches under where we should be this time of year. Now, really, right now, we're not too bad. It's what we have looking forward in the forecast. We're in a very La Nina-like pattern. We hear La Nina and El Nino thrown around quite often. What does that mean for us here in Tallahassee? Well, typically, we see warmer and drier winters. So, what does this drought situation mean right now? Well, in the future, if this continues, which it very well may for the next several weeks and months, we could be seeing some serious drought conditions. We'll be watching that unfold closely throughout the month of December and January here from the FSU Weather Studios. More on that later, but for now we're sending it over to the lab for our trivia.
Thank you, Matt. So this is our trivia poll. We are available with trivia every Thursday where it will be broadcasted with the answer on our Friday show. So today's question is, how many named storms did the Atlantic have this hurricane season? The answers are A, 19, B, 15, C, 12, D, 17. So make sure you vote in that. You could see how many people have also, what percentage people have voted for those answers after you vote as well. And maybe, hopefully, you'll get the right answer as well. But for now, we are going to take a look back with our outdoors with Michael. Michael, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Sammy. Let's take a look at some of the sporting events happening across the nation and also in Tallahassee. First, Thursday Night Football, the weekly Color Rush game, and it is an NFC East battle between the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys, both struggling, both trying to get to 500 for the season. 57 degrees, clear skies, and light winds for that game. Now, FSU volleyball starts out their NCAA first round in Lincoln, Nebraska, against the Washington State Wazoos. And it is 49 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, and a light wind from the north at 5 miles per hour. Next, the Friday night block party, the final one for the football season, and it is happening tomorrow from 5 to 10 p.m. at College Town. 20% chance of rain, as we were saying, 71 degrees, and light winds of west to 5 miles per hour. FSU football has their final home game against Louisiana Monroe this Saturday at noon, and this is for the bowl eligibility. If we win, we get into a bowl. Weather, 70 degrees, mostly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of rain. Now, next, we head into the Tallahassee Winter Festival. It is looking like it's going to be good for anyone heading to downtown. 73 at the start of the event at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and 60 at the end at 10 p.m. Light winds as usual. And on Sunday, at the FSU reservation down near the golf course, Sunday from 12 to 5:30, they have live music, free s'mores, and hot chocolate, and a bunch of food. 65 degrees at the beginning of the event and 72 at the end with light winds as usual. FSU women's basketball has their next home game against away game against James Madison at Harrisburg, Virginia. 54 degrees, clear skies, and light winds. And men's basketball, head over to Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators at Monday at 9 p.m. 62 degrees will be the temperature at tip-off, and light winds as usual. Now let's take a look at that 5-day forecast once again. You can see the 20% chance of rain on Friday and Saturday due to that cold front. Sunday and Monday is looking very nice with us clearing out and in the middle 70s. But then by the later part of next week, we will see that cold shot of air potentially impacting our area. Now let's send it off to Victoria with the final look at your local forecast.
Wow, today was a warm one. Currently we're sitting at 71 degrees, mostly cloudy, dew point at 59 degrees, a little bit far away from that current temperature, making that humidity a little high at 66%. Current temperatures across the board, again, 71 in Tallahassee, cooler here on the coast in Carabel at 65 and 67 in Apalachicola. The radar doesn't show much around Central Florida, but up here we see a few clouds moving into the Tallahassee area with that cold front following. Current dew points, again, Tallahassee 59 degrees, Carabel 60, Apalachicola at 63. Futurecast temperatures. So right now it's 71. But temperatures will be dropping very drastically, so make sure you grab a light sweater on your way out the door. It's going to get chilly tonight. Tonight's forecast, it's going to get chilly, like I said, 57 degrees. Cloud cover will pick up, and there will be possible fog. So again, bring a sweater or jacket if you go outside tonight. For tomorrow, fog will be likely. It'll be 54 degrees in the morning, so wear that jacket and sweater. Maybe shed it off in the middle of the day. It'll increase to 70 degrees, and by the afternoon, 76 degrees, another warm, mild day. sorry. So the week ahead, Friday and Saturday, there's 20% chance of rain because of that cold front coming in, but then it'll clear up on Sunday and Monday. But again on Tuesday and Wednesday, rain percent chances of 30% and 50%. So bring an umbrella or a rain jacket, but temperatures will be very high throughout the week. And we are taking it back to the desk with Brittany and Michael.
Thank you, Victoria. Now, I'm not too much of a fan of this hot weather this week. It's definitely not feeling like the beginning of December.
I know, it's really warm for this time of year, and also it's been really dry. I really want some rain because, as I've been saying for the last few days, I want some rain for the golf courses because it's getting too fast out there on the greens.
Yeah, at least we have some sort of relief next week that we're
I know, I
forecasting.
think we'll finally get some rain from that next cold front on Wednesday, and then the much colder air on next week. And we actually have some breaking news in the studio, or no, we don't? Okay, so can we, yeah, let's look at the 7-day again, and it is a 20% chance of rain on Friday and Saturday due to that cold front, as we were saying.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that chance of rain next week because, again, it's been really dry around here. And I'm excited for those temperatures to dip low. And hopefully maybe in the finals week we'll see some chilly weather.
I
It'll
know.
feel more like
I've been
Christmas.
seeing, just to give you a sneak peek, you expect some 30s by next weekend into finals week. It's going to get really cold. I was seeing some of the temperatures even up in Atlanta, 20s in Atlanta.
Wow.
So that is really cold air,
Yeah.
especially after the warm kind of last few weeks we've been having. It's going to be a shock
Yeah,
to the
it's
system.
definitely going to feel like a huge difference from all this heat we're seeing right now to those nice cold temperatures. Florida could actually see some pretty cold temperatures.
Yeah, I think finally winter will finally arrive.
Yes,
So
winter
that
will finally be here.
yeah. Anyway, meteorological winter starts on December 1st. That's for all of us meteorologists. That's something significant.
As well as today is the last day of hurricane season.
Yep,
so
as
say
I was
goodbye to
saying.
that and
Yep.
go to the winter.
Yes. So for all of us here at, or we no actually.
Social media.
Yeah, social media. I forgot about social media. What am I
Follow
thinking?
us on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU weather.
Yeah, and follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU weather.
And watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com/FSU weather.
Yeah, and don't forget about the Instagram at FSU weather. We like to see all the pictures around Tallahassee, and I always say across the nation, because there's a lot of weather going on across the nation.
Yeah, definitely a wide variety of weather for sure, from rain
Yep.
to hot to cold.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to our weekend against ULM for that football game. And for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Michael Annan.
And I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman.
Have a great night.